Hey everybody, Jewel back with another astrology video. And we're talking about Sun in the 8th house today in the birth chart and what somebody's like who has this going on. So the Sun is our ego, our expression. A lot of our energy and our drive, our goals, it's a big slice of our personality and what we show to the world. And whatever house the Sun sits in the birth chart is where we really want to shine, where we want to show up. And it really lights up and illuminates whatever house it's in. So the 8th house is, the house of secrets. Secrets that we hide. Not secrets that are hidden from us, but secrets that we ourselves hide. Things that are buried. The ups and downs of life. Crisis is found in the 8th house. Death, sex, underground things. It's also the house of how we get our needs met. And is, a house that really contains, in one place, a lot of things that we don't want to deal with in life. And, Pluto, is the ruler of this house, and it's, so the Sun really takes on kind of a Plutonic energy when it's in the 8th house. So the Sun really wants to shine through depth when it comes into the 8th. It wants to, shine through being very passionate. It's a very obsessive place for the Sun, and they are very much looking for depth of connection when we have the expression and the ego here. They're really very much looking to show up in a way that is real, that is sincere. There's a lot of looking for transparency when we have the Sun here. So, and you have to look at aspects to the Sun, because somebody can be very much about secrets, and somebody can be very much about revealing secrets. It very much depends on what the Sun is doing, aspects to it. When I make these videos, I'm talking about one thing at a time. It's simply just the Sun in the 8th. We're not talking about the Sun being aspected by anything or anything else. This is it, just the Sun in the 8th. So when we do, look at a complete birth chart, we consider everything. But we can't do that unless we learn one thing at a time. So that's why I teach you one thing at a time. So, I don't want to hear from anybody that, no, I'm not like that, because, well, you probably got more stuff going on. So Sun in the 8th, it is a more hidden personality. They have to discover themselves very much throughout their lives. And they are more private about, what they'll share or what they'll show. And they tend to keep a smaller, circle of friends, unless you've got, like a lot of Mercury and Uranus. An 11th house, that's gonna be very much different. So they're very curious about the underbelly of life. They are actually really good in a crisis, people with the Sun in their 8th house, because this is the house of crisis, and this is where they really show up. So ambulance drivers, therapists, psychologists, people that deal in esoteric subjects, occultists, astrologers, nurses, people that deal, in trauma, very, very capable people that have their Sun in the 8th house, very, very well suited to dealing with careers that the rest of us have a really hard time even knowing exist. So the depth of who they are very much comes cyclically with the Sun in the 8th house. There's a lot of regeneration of the personality. A lot of, the old beliefs about themselves dying away and having to grapple for new beliefs. What is it that they're really about? And reestablishing their personalities is something, every 10 years or so, they've got to, reestablish what it is they're about. And, what you see with these people is really not what you get. They, they will surprise you. There's things, that they keep hidden, and they will reveal them, occasionally. And these are the people that, you'll know them for years, and they'll tell you something, and be like, I never knew that about you. I'm shocked. So they do reveal things over time. Confronting secrets is a really big theme with them. They want things to be out on the table when we have the sun in the 8th. They're very much about honesty. And, the sun is, lighting up the secrets of the 8th. So, rooting out those things, very, very important to them. They tend to have a very high sex drive because we have a lot of the personality coming into the 8th house. They express themselves through sexuality a great deal of the time, more so than other signs or other, houses. It's something that actually is a part of their personalities. So water signs tend to have a more difficult time of things when it is in the 8th house. They tend to give a lot, and they can give their resources away, their energy, whatever it is, their time, their money. Fire and earth signs tend to be more about keeping what they have and not sharing what they have and not giving away freely what they have. Air signs can go either way. You have to really look at the aspects to the sun. And there is a need to find a concrete foundation, to build their own concrete foundation. Often it is a concrete foundation that has to do with finances. They can have this pervasive feeling throughout their lives of not having enough or not having a concrete, financial structure under them. And, people, with their sun in like Scorpio or Taurus, Capricorn, they tend to get a hold of that really early in life, and they are very much about having, where a lot of the other signs in the sun in the 8th house are very much about getting. And so, really depends, the sign in the 8th house has a lot to do with how this sun is going to express itself. Sun in Libra, sun in Cancer, these are both suns in detriment. If they come into the 8th house, you need to really pay attention to where the moon is, because if the moon is in a sign of detriment, then we end up with somebody that is has a lot of emotional ups and downs, and anxiety and emotional crisis. This is the house of crisis. And emotionally, these people, even though we're not talking about the moon, we're talking about the sun, they tend to not do as well unless they are, building or maintaining that support structure for their own selves. And then they have a feeling of, okay, I'm doing okay. I'm not floundering. They need to make their own money. They need to really knuckle down and do the things and put the structures in place that are going to make them feel like they can trust themselves. They have something to fall back on. They don't do well if they are financially depending on somebody else. And most of them want to. There is a deep desire for somebody with greater resources to come into their lives and make everything okay. They very much are looking for a knight in shining armor with a big checkbook, because they see that as, you know, the end-all be-all of happiness. And that is going to bring them the stability that they're lacking in their minds, when really it needs to come from themselves. Because as long as they're depending on somebody else, even if they find that, that is not going to solve that problem. Then it's, you know, goes from, okay, a lack of resources, and I'm upset about that, to my resources are coming from this other person, and that is not something that I may be able to completely count on because this other person has their free will. So Sun in the 8th can become very controlling when it comes to resources, and when it comes to money, and when it comes to stuff, because they want to make sure that it's going to be there, and they're going to be able to have access to it. So really important for them to, you know, do for themselves, and that will go a long way towards making them feel like they are not in this constant up and down with their ego. So a lot of times the father with people with Sun in the 8th house, he was very entrenched in his ideas and his beliefs. Very almost myopic when it comes to the father. And, you know, these people really, at the heart of it, they need to establish, you know, independence of resources and of character. And, you know, through digging into the deep things of life and experiencing the hard things of life, this is what really, this is how they get to know themselves and what they're made of. So I hope you enjoyed my analysis of Sun in the 8th house. I'll be back super soon with another awesome video. You can find me on the internet at truthinaspectastrology.com and on Facebook at Truth in Aspect Astrology. And yes, I do consultation. I specialize in partner charts and synastry, romance and intimacy, relationship type of astrology. And check out my partner, Seth Roback, here on YouTube as well. Another awesome astrologer, just great videos. And if you like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back super soon. Bye.